Have you ever bragged about how little sleep you got last night? In our culture of productivity and hustle, pulling an all-nighter or surviving on 5 hours of sleep can feel like a badge of honor. We treat sleep as a luxury, an inconvenience, or the very first thing to sacrifice when our schedules get tight. But what if that's completely backward? What if the single most important thing you could do for your health, your career, your relationships, and your creativity isn't working harder, but sleeping more? This is the radical and evidence-packed argument at the heart of Matthew Walker's groundbreaking book, Why We Sleep. Walker, a professor of neuroscience and psychology, makes a compelling case that we are in the midst of a silent sleep loss epidemic, and that the consequences are far more devastating than we could ever imagine. This isn't just about feeling a little groggy the next day. This is about our fundamental well-being. The book completely reframes sleep not as a passive state of rest, but as our life support system. The most effective thing we can do to reset our brain and body health each and every day. So let's start with the scary part. What really happens when you don't get enough sleep? Walker is unflinching here. After just one night of only 4 or 5 hours of sleep, your body's natural killer cells, the ones that target cancerous cells and viruses, drop in activity by a staggering 70%. That's a severely compromised immune system after just a single bad night. It's no wonder that chronic short sleeping is strongly linked to an increased risk of cancer, heart attacks, and stroke. But the most profound damage might be happening in our brains. Throughout the day, our brains accumulate metabolic waste, including a toxic protein called beta amyloid, which is strongly associated with Alzheimer's disease. During deep sleep, our brains activate a remarkable cleansing system. Think of it like a power wash for your mind. Glial cells shrink, opening up space for cerebrospinal fluid to flush out these toxins. If you don't get enough deep sleep, you don't run the full cleaning cycle. That beta amyloid plaque builds up night after night, year after year, dramatically increasing your risk for dementia later in life. So when you shortchange your sleep, you are not just borrowing energy from tomorrow, you are neglecting the nightly maintenance that keeps your brain healthy for a lifetime. Now that's what sleep protects us from. But what does it actively do for us? This is where the story shifts from frightening to fascinating. Sleep is essential for learning and memory. Think of your brain's short-term memory like a USB stick. It has a limited capacity. During the day, you fill it up with new experiences and information. Deep sleep, specifically what's called non-rapid eye movement or NREM sleep, is the process of taking the files from that USB stick and transferring them to the vast hard drive of your long-term memory. Without that transfer, the USB stick is full. You can't learn anything new. This is why pulling an all-nighter to cram for an exam is one of the worst things you can do. You're not saving any new information. Walker illustrates this with a brilliant experiment. Researchers taught 2 groups of people a new motor skill, like a sequence of finger taps. Then, one group was allowed a full night's sleep, while the other group was kept awake. The next day, the group that slept showed a 20 to 30% improvement in their skill without any additional practice. Their brains had consolidated the memory and made it effortless. The sleep-deprived group showed no improvement at all. Sleep, it turns out, is the ultimate practice session. It takes what we've learned and solidifies it, making it permanent and automatic. But the magic doesn't stop with just saving files. The other major stage of sleep, REM, or rapid eye movement sleep, is where the true creativity happens. This is the stage where we dream. If NREM sleep is about transferring information, REM sleep is about connecting it. It's like a form of informational alchemy. Your brain takes all the new memories it just stored and starts colliding them with your entire back catalog of life experiences. It searches for distant, non-obvious links and patterns. This process can lead to incredible problem-solving and creative breakthroughs. Walker shares the famous story of Dmitri Mendeleev, the chemist who struggled for years to figure out how to organize the known elements. The logic eluded him. Then one night, he had a dream. In the dream, he saw all the elements fall into place in a perfect grid, the periodic table. He woke up and immediately wrote it down. That wasn't magic. That was his brain, during REM sleep, doing what it does best, finding ingenious solutions that our rigid, awake minds might miss. REM sleep is our nightly session of emotional and creative therapy. It even helps us process difficult experiences by stripping away the painful emotional charge from memories, allowing us to heal from trauma. So, if sleep is this powerful, this essential, why are we all so bad at it? Walker argues that modern life is in a direct war with sleep. We've demonized darkness and electrified the night with constant blue light from our phones, tablets, and TVs. This blue light tricks our brains into thinking it's still daytime, suppressing the release of melatonin, the hormone that signals it's time to sleep. And then there's our relationship with two other substances, caffeine and alcohol. We think of caffeine as a morning friend, but its effects are incredibly long-lasting. Caffeine has a half-life of about 5 to 6 hours. This means if you have a cup of coffee at 2 in the afternoon, by 8 p.m., half of that caffeine is still circulating in your system, actively blocking your ability to fall into deep, restorative sleep. Alcohol is perhaps even more misunderstood. Many people use a nightcap to help them fall asleep, and it works. Alcohol is a sedative. It will knock you out. But sedation is not sleep. Alcohol actively fragments your sleep throughout the night, robbing you of the most critical stages, especially REM sleep. You might fall asleep faster, but the quality of that sleep is so poor that you wake up feeling unrefreshed. Walker's advice is clear: avoid caffeine in the afternoon and evening, and understand that alcohol is one of the most powerful suppressors of dream sleep that we know of. So, what can we do? The book is full of practical tips, but the single most important one is regularity. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every single day, even on weekends. This anchors your sleep cycle and helps your body know when to expect to fall asleep and when to wake up. It's more powerful than any sleeping pill. The second tip is to keep it cool. Your body needs to drop its core temperature by a couple of degrees to initiate sleep. A bedroom that's too warm is one of the biggest culprits of restless nights. Aim for a room temperature of around 65 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 18 degrees Celsius. Ultimately, why we sleep is a call to action. It asks us to start a personal and a public conversation about the importance of sleep. It challenges us to rethink our definition of success. True productivity isn't about how many hours you can stay awake. It's about the quality of the work you produce, the health you maintain, and the creativity you can access. All of these things are profoundly enhanced by a full night of sleep. So the next time you're tempted to burn the midnight oil, maybe ask yourself a different question. Instead of asking, "What will I lose if I go to bed now?" ask, "What incredible benefits will I gain? What problems could my dreaming mind solve? What memories will I solidify? How much stronger, healthier, and happier will I be tomorrow?" Because as Matthew Walker proves, sleep is not lost time. It is the time where we repair, remember, and remake ourselves night after night. It is the greatest gift we can give to our minds and our bodies.